Hello, hello. Some Final Fantasy XIV things have kept me off of videos for a few days, just doing some day one, week one Savage Prog this week. But yeah, a fair amount has happened in the past 6 days or so that we've gone without a news video, so let's catch up. Obviously, the biggest news, if you've missed it, is that US Nationals has been announced. This is an in-person event. It is going to be November 11th, 12th, and 13th in Dallas, Texas. So, that's the date, location we've been waiting for. We'll still wait and see where there's going to be 2 other nationals, one for EU and one for Australia and New Zealand, as well as an online one. But we have the US one. It's set a nice good 10 weeks of notice so that you can make plans and get out there. This is going to be an open entry event. I know there was some language in some provisionals posts and whatever that seemed to infer that maybe you had to qualify for this. That's not true. It is open entry. Anyone who can make the trip and wants to play is going to be able to play. That November 11th is a Friday. That is not going to be part of the main event. It sounds like Friday is going to be some sort of designated side event day, which is kind of interesting because this is the quote-unquote championship season. It's not going to have, it can't be a Season 3 regional, for instance. It can't be a Season 3 provisional. So either they'll use this as a way to give out some of the older cards, like people catch up with old regional promos, or maybe it'll be an alternate way to get whatever the Nationals promos are, or there'll be some other prizing or some other type of event. Maybe they'll try to have a dedicated Teams Day or something and see how that goes. So we'll see. We're still waiting on details on that. It is going to be at a hotel in the Dallas area. They do have a special hotel rate available. If you book through their portal before, I believe it's October 3rd, you'll be able to get a special rate at the hotel. Usually historically, and this happened when we had the event at the hotel in Vegas, most of the people that go to the event end up staying at that hotel, and it's kind of cool because, before and after and in and around an overnight, Saturday night, Friday night, all the players are there. You can do side games, you just hang out, play some board games, whatever. So it's always cool to do that, so I would encourage anyone who wants to go to try to stay at that hotel if you can and take advantage of these rates. It's just going to be a better experience that way, at least historically for me it has been. So try to check that out. I'll have a link in the description to that. They're also, of course, looking for judges for that event. They're taking applications. There's a form for that. I'll link that in the description. So that's what we know about Nationals so far for the US. And we'll wait and see what these side events are and hopefully get some dates for the other ones soon. Also, this past weekend, there was an online provisional. I believe it had a couple hundred players, something like that. Kind of what we've started to get used to seeing from these online provisionals, because they're not the big events, the big regionals. You're seeing a lot of people sort of try decks out there, try to test things, presumably for Pasadena or for, Nationals at this point, although Set 3 is going to come out before then, presumably. So yeah, or some people just playing fun things, whatever. But in any event, it was won by Momo. Travis Tangeman took it down, playing presumably a similar Momo to the one that he ran at Gen Con. But the top cuts was a little interesting. We had a little bit of spice in there. We had a Shigaraki in top cuts. We had a Bakugo 1 in top cuts. So, I've got a link to Go Beyond's video with all the deck lists in the description. Go check that out, see some cool lists. We also had a bit of a surge of Tokuyami's, despite his what seems to be a relatively poor matchup into Kirishima and Momo, who are, got sort of the top 2 decks, so to say, at least in terms of popularity and success. But still a bunch of people played him. There were a few in top cuts. We'll see if that was sort of just an online thing, people not wanting to play Jiro, or just, sort of happenstance of just decks people felt like playing this weekend, right? But coming up this next weekend is a regional in Pasadena. This is the second to last regional. Obviously worth the points towards the system to qualify for the Hero League Championship at the end of the year. I believe it's the second event out of 3 that are going to give out the champion and contender slashing whirlwinds, as well as Set 3 regional promos. So yeah, it should be a pretty big event. I think we will probably see any tech people think they have, or whatever they've been working on that they think can fight into this Momo and Kirishima field. I think we're going to see it here. Maybe a lot of Jiros, maybe a lot of something else, maybe some surprises, maybe some Eraserhead pops up. So that should be interesting to follow. As a fun thing in the comments, if there's anything you think is sort of surprisingly good against these decks that you think people should be looking at, or that you're even running at Pasadena that you want to talk about in advance, leave it in the comments. It might be fun. Also announced today at this Pasadena RLE, there's going to be some the Jasco employees that are going to be there are going to be doing some side games where they're going to be playing with set 3 decks, or decks that are using Heroes Clash cards. And if you beat them in one of these side games, they'll give you some Heroes Clash card in advance. So that should be fun. We might get to see some cards that they haven't previewed yet, just sort of sneaking in their decks, so we might get some phone photos of cards out in the wild, right? So yeah, if you're going to be there, keep an eye out. Bring something that you can play a fun side game with that you think might be able to take down some randoms, Jasco in play wants to show you how much they can beat the crap out of you with Coda, or someone wants to have their cool stun grenade deck or whatever. And see if you can get a little card early. It's sort of a fun side thing to do while you're at Pasadena if you're going. And so yeah, that's the news for this past 6 days to a week or so. The previews have been continuing. Of course, I'll do another preview catch-up video tomorrow. Well, sounds like we'll have 14 or 15 cards for that. Another long one, I guess, but hopefully not too long. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. Check out the links in the description for all the stuff that I've mentioned here. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care.